male and female, sometimes mixed, attacked. Even tertiary institutions have not been spared, in the past 3 years. In the north, we've had schools, even Abuja, was attacked. Schools around Abuja were attacked a few years ago. So it's made going to school very, very challenging. In fact, some schools in these areas have actually closed up. They've shut their doors to students, willing learners, for their safety, because obviously the schools cannot guarantee their safety. It's a big problem. It's a multifaceted problem. Now, my question this morning, I'm not going to remind you of the things that you've probably heard of in the news or read out more stats, even though the stats are very, very frightening. All right. Latest one from UNICEF puts it at about 10.5 million children are not in school in this country, even though, primary education is meant to be free. So that means even in areas, right, where you don't have as high a rate of insurgency or security or insecurity challenges, you still have people out of school. Now, I want us, to have in mind that, yes, the large numbers are in the northern part of Nigeria, but we're going to focus here in the south, Niger Delta. And if you're going to make contributions, I would like to also get to hear solutions that could also be replicated in parts of the north, if you can, please. But here it is. These are the questions I'd like for you to, as it were, take a swipe at this morning. The first one is this: should vocation schools be created to cater to out of school? This question, I'll read it again. This person is proffering, and I don't know if you agree with this, which is why I'm taking my time to explain this. The person is proffering that rather than having the technical schools like we have, or like we have had, where people come, they get result, it's still a school, but they're teaching you electronics and mechanics and all those kind of things. The person is saying, why don't we create a system, right, similar to what is already prevalent in this country? We get out of school children and we'll ask them to be mentored or trained by established businessmen or women, people who are in vocations. So rather than punishing children or their parents for not being in school like one government had done in the past, you get these children and say, okay, fine, since you are not in school, all right, we are going to open Mechanic Jude, who is here. Guy Mechanic Jude, we are going to pay you 2,000 naira for every child that you can register and teach how to change tire in 3 months, right? They will come and work. As they are working, we'll give you money, but they are not, so that they will not be on the streets. Should that plan, is that a plan that you think can work? Talking about the vocation schools, like I said, it's a variance from what is already established here in Nigeria. The second question, very important question, particularly in Niger Delta: are children still protected from assault? Listen to this, please. In modern day society, I know the easy answer is yes. But if you look at assault in its general and you become more specific terms, you tend to ask yourself this question: honestly, have you done anything to protect the children around you, the homeless children, the begging children? When you see somebody push them on the ground, hey, come on, they stop me. And I've seen a few, and I'm putting my hand up. I'm a guilty person here at the markets. When they are begging, hey, give me my color, and somebody slaps them, do you reprimand that person? It's an assault. They may not be your son, they may not be your daughter or your relative, but that person is still a child. Like I said, it's one of those difficult conversations that has to be had.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeriainfo FM. Nigeriainfo, let's talk.
Hello, Port Harcourt, with Jude on 92.3 Nigeriainfo.
So 017-923-0003, 017-923-0007 at Nigeriainfo PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeriainfo PH at Nigeriainfo PH is where you'll find us on Facebook and on X. WhatsApp is 0809-030-6416. The out-of-school children issue is a huge one, particularly in the northern part of Nigeria. But in the south, particularly in the Niger Delta, it is not disappearing either. Please join the conversation, shall we? We have Muriel in Okrika and Daniel in Imo Gate. Muriel, welcome. Let's hear from you first.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, please.
Jude, I think it is so sad that the only people that we see as going to school, pass through school, are just graduates from universities and polytechnics. Even polytechnics too are even sidelined in this part of the world. Jude, I think vocational schools should have been, so strong, especially in Africa, especially in Nigeria. Here we have so many people that have head for school. It's not a matter of insecurity issue. Dude, not just vocational schools, even homeschooling. These people, when students come out of them, graduate from them, they should have proper certificates, just like the graduate schools, the North University, with our Nigerian logo, graduates from vocational school of Nigeria, something, executed very well. But I think it should be encouraged. It's not for security issue. It's not that not even everybody has to go to school, university, write paper, begin to do assignment, begin to do. No. It should be encouraged.
Okay. Daniel is in Imo Gate. We have Michael on Agri Road. Daniel, welcome, please. Thank you for your patience.
Good morning, my brother Jude.
Good morning, please.
Chinke Daniel Mogeto Oswako.
Thank you.
My take on the question you asked. Here in southeast Nigeria, that is Igbo, many of us are already in that. That is already established people in their various businesses that, absorb these people. We call it in the sense of Abia North, call it 1,000. Amon or Eba Boy. It is very popular in Igbo land.
Yeah, but it's not sponsored by the government. It's basically, people like you who have businesses who want to help other people, or your uncles or your friends will say, come and take my son. We're talking about the government actually getting involved to get these children off the streets.
My brother Jude, if we keep waiting for government to do those ones, what about other things that when waiting for government, it will never happen? So it's just for somebody to understand what it takes. You see, what I'm telling you is that it doesn't even matter your age. I can be 30 years, and the person I call one boy, the way we put it here, can be 50 years. But the problem we have here in the East is because of our mentality here today in Nigeria. Education, which some of them are acquired through, dubious and that certificate. That, these people doing some other jobs, unless you have, I am a PhD holder, I am a master degree holder. Yes, those ones are not valued. I think this is the area I even expect government to do something. And we in Igbo land, we understand this. We are not the people who will start looking for marching ground. All this multiplication of tax collection. Thank you very much.
Michael is in Agro. Sotoya is in Alu. But Michael, let's hear from you, please.
Good morning, please.
Good morning, please.
The vocational something is very good. And I would encourage it local government, because the 3 tiers of government to take it seriously. Another thing, this state of origin thing should be exposed from.
Okay.
Yes, because there was a time last year, I can't give you the exact thing, but there's this vocational school we have at the back of the Borough Park. I don't know if you know it.
Yes, I know the school.
It was built by, I don't know if it was by Mechi or we say one of them. Well, don't pass that place now. That place is a shadow of itself. What is that place there? I even lost some of the equipment. I've been stolen.
I've been stolen. Sad.
Yes, but alive. And that's a vocational school. The truth is that not everybody will go to international primary and nursery school. Not everybody will go. But so certain will go to vocational, like the craft center we have. Go to the one at the outside. You can stand from outside to see inside. Push all over. It has been taken by farmers. There they farm yam, cassava, all kinds of things.
Okay.
Lost and dilapidated. But the one says that last year, there was a time they actually wanted to enroll people into that vocational school. They brought out the issue of state of origin. Why is this to be so? It doesn't make sense. Most of these kids on the street probably are not from River State, from neighboring states. But they can do well.
Here.
Chance to be enrolled in such schools. So why use that state of origin as a assembly block? After all, if these kids excel, it is for the
good of the state.
Of the nation.
All right, thank you very much. Sotoye is in Alu. Sotoye, good morning to you, please.
Yeah, just good morning.
Good morning. Sotoye, before you continue, I have to crave your indulgence. I have an advert coming up in 23 seconds. May I indulge you or ask you to indulge us? Can you call back right after the advert in about 2 minutes, please? Please.
All right.
Thank you very much, please. Thank you. All right, your comments are coming through on WhatsApp. That we'll get to read them very shortly. But like I said earlier, we have to take a commercial. As soon as we're done with that, we'll come back and we'll get more of your thoughts on this. Out of school issues, out of school children, rather, here in the Niger Delta and indeed in Nigeria. Good morning. very patient earlier on, and I think it's only fair that we get to give you a chance to air your views on the subject matter. 08179230002, 08179230007, 08179230002, 08179230007. WhatsApp is 08090306416, 08090306416. All right, now this one here is from C. C says, good morning. This out of school issue, a lot of people are not taking it as serious as it should be, because here in the South, a lot of people are still working, and you still get to see children who are doing menial jobs all around. But the problem is, many of these jobs will not meet their basic needs by the time they turn into teenagers or young adults. Guess what they will turn to? If not crime, there may be some other jobs that may not be suitable for young adults, and that's where you have some of these cultists come from. Many of them were out of school, no training, no guidance, nothing. This is a ticking time bomb, even here in the South. See with that comment. C says it's a ticking time bomb, even here in the South. There's no school, there's no guidance, there's no counseling, there's no mentorship, nothing. They're just out of school because papa, mama, nobody, they pay school fees. They are on the streets, they are gallivanting, right? Yes, we've heard those, grass to grace type of stories, but there are lots of them that actually go under the radar and nobody gets to notice. They are likely the gangs that you see all around Port Harcourt. They bam, they well, they up, they not, they hungry, they far hungry. They're all over the place. They're all over the place. So C may have a point here. May just have a point. Headline news right here, 92.3 Nigeriainfo. Stay tuned. Info, and if you just join us, this is Hello Port Harcourt. Now, our final conversation is about out of school children, and it is a very, very sad story to get to listen to even get to discuss. But here we are having to do so, and it's because I like to believe that you are as involved and as committed as any other to the development of this nation. Numbers to call 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0007. All right. Now, let me get to WhatsApp and read a comment before we get back to the phone lines. Thank you very much. You can see Sotonia's name coming up on the computer. Now, good morning. Patrick Amadi here. I have been to Kebbi. I've stayed there for 5 years, 2000 to 2005. The people in that area don't like to go to school. Their schools are always be out of force, by force. Vocational schools will not solve the problem. Schooling is a thing of interest and sponsorship. Patrick Amadi, we'll get to talk about that. That's coming from Patrick. But for now, let's get to the phone lines. I get to say hello to Sotonye. So, Tonya, good morning to you, and thank you once again for your patience. Greetings.
Thank you, Mr. Jude.
Good morning, please.
Yes, the topic on ground now is a good topic, even in this time of celebrating children. Yes, I'm a classroom teacher, and I just left the class. I had 2 classes. I just left the class to my table before I put on my radio, and I heard the topic. So I decided to wade in.
Yes, please.
Yes, you see, when we talk of vocational courses or school where out-of-school children can go and learn if they cannot learn in the classrooms, officially. You see, as a classroom teacher, the children are more interested when you bring something practical. They like that one more than copying notes. You teaching, talking, shouting, stressing yourself, cracking your voice as a teacher. So it is those practical things they want. Most of them don't have the knowledge to retain
theories
that are taught in the class. But when you teach them those things, I am an ICT stroke computer teacher. Okay. And sometimes when I see that they are not interested in the theory aspect, I bring in the computer practical.
Fair enough.
And then that is when you see them interested, and some of them will be asking you questions. How did this come? How did they get it? How does the computer work? The motherboard and all the rest. They want that one. And that is exactly what Nigeria needs now. Nigeria, we are tired of this theoretical teaching and all the. We need practical. That is what China is doing and other countries that are doing well. Their children know more of these things more than talking. So even in a classroom, the government should create another school inside the school where these classes are taught. That is where you will see most of the children will even like to be deployed to those classes because they are seeing it live and practically.
Okay. All right,
so I feel vocational courses and schools should be created more by the government to enable our children have idea in things that are being manufactured and produced and all the rest. I think that will grow this country a lot.
So, Sonia, thank you very much, and keep up with the good work. Zion is in GRA, and we have Ken in Ubumini. Zion, let's hear from you first, if we can, please.
First Act, 1977. How many of us remember that?
Some of us were not born.
Popularly known as First Act 77. You see, my problem in this part of the world is a lot of us who rush to become political leaders. We don't read, we don't think, we lack imaginations. We go into politics because, number one, we are so jobless and we are looking for where we can have money. Number one reason why you see them rushing to politics. Ab initio, I made the comment, First Act 1977. There are resolutions that were made. First Act is not about dance masquerade. No. It's like a conglomeration of African culture and tradition being hosted with the world in accordance with the World Bank underlined that in Nigeria is to promote culture and tradition of the African people.
So wait, Zaya, I'm sorry, because we have Ken. All right, I need to answer because the director can get to Ken. Do you think?
Coming, see, when we rush into this, we don't get the meat of the conversation. I know there is somebody waiting for me. How many minutes have I spent compared to how many minutes have I waited on the queue?
He's also waiting, Zaya.
We don't talk because we have too much credit. We talk because we want to deliver our soul the day we die. The vocational training was one of the agreements that was initiated on that first Act 77. That was why after that, 10 years later, we now have polytechnics in our universities. The truth is this. When you remove this vocational training, you abuse the well-being of the African people who are gifted into craft. Vocational training is all about craft. Is it not so? Carve, create, mold, and so on. So can we bring it back? It's not by creating youth center. This creating of youth center is politically motivated. Let us go back and open up the craft school, the craft centers, and so on. Let us go back to the TTC, the Training College. Then now model the university level, which is the polytechnic. Sorry, the tertiary level, which is the polytechnics, where they now go on to become more professionals for global marketing of our craft products. So the only way we can get it right, today, most of the schools are so boring. The classroom are so frustrating. The teachers are not motivated. Most of the teachers are there because how they manage this job. So they cannot impact, underline that word, impact on the students. The students get frustrated. I don't want to go to school.
All right. Thank you very much. Ken is in Ubumini. Ken, thank you very much for your patience. Please go on.
Good morning, Jude.
Good morning, please, Ken.
Jude, I don't know if you can tell me more about the difference between extramural class and vocational school.
I think it's very. I think it's not too difficult. When we talk about extramural classes or extracurricular activities, that means you go to class normally, like you have a regular school. Then there are extra activities that you do to, as it were, augment whatever you have learned. The vocational school is the one where the idea is they train you, on the practical aspect of maybe becoming a carpenter, becoming a painter, an electrician, or a vulcanizer, or that's all you're going to do. You're not going to be bothered about learning all the history of the world. Just that thing that you're going to specify, or you're going to be very good at.
Okay. Let me tell you. You see, during in our own days, I don't know if you are aware that all the primary schools in Job were morning and afternoon sessions.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you understand that because I attended St. Andrew's primary school.
Okay.
Are you aware that the morning session metamorphosed from the afternoon session was metamorphosed from the morning one because of the way the children then were afraid of going to school, because there are some children that if they hear that come and go to school, they will run away and dodge in the morning time. From there, they form this afternoon session where they see some of the children as those who their parents are poor, or those who their parents are not taking care
of them. I see.
Before you know it, the session now became another part of its own session again. So what I'm saying in essence is this: for us to have our children be in the school, let there be a kind of environment where they will see themselves being self-exercised. I was one time an Empower opportunity teacher.
Okay.
Let me put it in that form.
You're a beneficiary of that program.
What the children or the people were doing. Actually, they don't focus. They don't really like from morning to night talking. They need, as you are telling them, you should practicalize them. Mostly the subject of agric Where you tell them, go home and plant beans and corn. After 4 days, bring it to the school with your concom or make sure that you bring it down home. So they are being very happy because of the way you are telling them what you are teaching them, and then you practicalize them.
Yes.
So I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So on this our Western modern school system, let them come down home, know that there is what we call local craft about them. No one now that we the quality hard work. Where you ask them to bring broom, they will pay for the broom. Instead of them to enter inside the bush, cut down what they will use for the bush, and then send them to school. You ask them to carve out something that will make sure that is why they call it local craft. We don't have those things again in Nigeria.
Okay. All right, Ibiso's on all the road. We have Wellington in Okrika. Ibiso, join the conversation, please.
Jude. After taking my training, you have one thing for me. No. Let me tell you one thing, Jude. It's a nice discussion. But can we stop discrimination? Now, in my community, Tombia, we have GTC college there. Early 80s, late 70s, they bring in 504 to make practical, and they are driving it in the town. They have different departments. Go to Aoda, go to GTC Port Harcourt. But they look those that are going for vocational or technical school like nobody. And after you graduate from Polytechnic, now when they want to employ people, they say this person has BSc, so they have HND. They even give that person that has BSc more upper hand. So if they can stop discrimination, this thing will work very well. Okay. Because we have technical schools in different areas in those days. Go to Tombia, my community now. Out of that school, that is functioning well. In those days, people live there, what I call to Tombia to school in GTC. But now, because of the way the employment rate discriminates people, those that are doing practical, you don't honor them. You say that those that did their accounting, you give them upper hand. So you are demoralizing the people that are going to
vocational schools
or training, or technical college. Oh. So if they can put everybody in one level, this is what many people are connected with handwork. There's no this discrimination huge. Okay, now when someone wants to work in Nigeriainfo, two people, I say it's more technical, this one is more theory. Everybody is talented in his own field. Don't because of this person is a technical person, and so it brings discrimination there. It cannot work. That's what is happening in Nigeria. Go to Western world. Those that have handwork, they are those that are doing most of the job and bringing it up for so this is discrimination in the academic sector, in the employment side. So they are demoralizing people that are wasting their money to go for vocational training.
Thank you very much, Ibi. So Wellington is not cricket. We have progress in the LLA. Wellington, please go on.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning, please.
The truth of the matter is, sometimes, let me take you back. Can you hear me?
Yes, please. Well, listen to you. Go on.
Let me take you back. In those days, most of these technical schools produce goods we buy. We patronize them. I have a friend who went to GTC. Most of these schools called comprehensive schools. There's a course called Introductory Technology.
They
do They do some other electrical work in comprehensive schools. The fact remains that government has lost priority in education. Those GTC boys, they have a team. They go to most of these uncompleted buildings with their teachers. They collect contract. They work. They work. They wire building, conduit, and other.
Whilst they're in school.
Hello?
I said, whilst they're in school, they were collecting contracts to help wire buildings.
Yes. They collect contracts. They do jobs. But the problem we are having now, those days, there was so much interest in education. The local government council sometimes come, give you minor jobs. They go to social health center, deliver this job. They do. But these days, the government doesn't have interest in education. Let me drop this last word. Show me a well-educated nation. I will show you a prosperous nation. Thank you and God bless you. Wellington from Okrika.
Progress is in LLA. Progress, join the conversation. Good morning to you, please.
Yes, good morning, Jude. Good morning, Port Harcourt.
Good morning.
Let me quickly say that this idea, your question, is a beautiful one, and the suggestions given so far, they are beautiful suggestions. But I'm afraid, sir.
Why?
My fear is that the government in Nigeria have not done anything, and you will see the result. Immediately we start up with this skill acquisition, this skill training. In the next 5 years, these buildings and those schools will be closed down and the building dilapidated. Yes. And then it will become an avenue for people to cash their money. It will become an avenue for budget to be padded. And then those things will be abandoned. If they tell you that this is a program we just started about a few years ago, you'll be surprised.
Are you saying that nothing should?
problem.
Are you saying that nothing should be done because you are pessimistic about the outcome?
No, something should be done. That is why I am afraid that NDDC is failing. This is the duty of NDDC, a body that is saddled with the responsibility to develop the Niger Delta region. We need to have this kind of schools sponsored, pioneered, built, supervised by NDDC. In addition to our NDDC, our churches, Jude. Our churches can go into this kind of project.
Really?
We pay tithe, we do offering, we do a lot of things to support the church. But what is the church doing to the society? Can churches go into this kind of project and remove children from the street? Jude, I believe that if our churches, if our communities, because some communities are very rich, if community leadership, our kings, if they go into this kind of project, it will do all more good than even a government at the state or local government bringing this. It will not work. Our government are not serious. That is my position on the Radio Council of Progress.
Progress, thank you very much. Now, it's interesting. Progress touched on communities and community schools, because I remember, I think several times on this platform, I've had people, tell us that, okay, back in those days, and I read books, all those African Nights entertainment stories that I used to read as a child, depicted, communities selecting students from within and say, okay, you know what, you and you, because you passed your WASC those days, all right, we'll pay your school fees. Go to you do standard 1 to standard 5. We'll pay your school fees. So when you finish, by the time you start working, you will repay the money back to the community and maybe even bring some some pride or some prestige to the community. I don't think that's a bad idea, because most of the community secondary schools around these days, they are an empty shell of what they used to be, both physically and metaphorically. Pascal is near chair. Pascal, good morning to you, please. Good morning, Pascal.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, please. Go on.
Yes, I want to contribute on vocational school as we have passed through the technique. I know technical is very important, and
oh dear, Pascal, apologies, but that line is not very clear. I would encourage you to quickly call back down with any other numbers: 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0007, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0007. Please, that line was not very clear. Jude, out of school children are breeding ground for another Boko Haram and banditry, and this ugly trend should be addressed now by the authorities at all levels of government. John Wagugu from Ungwa Land. All right, thank you very much, John. Now, what you refer to as variant of the vocational school was sponsored by the River State government in the late 80s, and it was called skill acquisition. People were trained in various skills such as nursing, carpentry, mechanics, etc. I know people who benefited from that program. Some are self-employed, others are civil servants, and are all well-to-do now. Kingsley from Igruta. All right. Thank you very much, Kingsley from Igruta. All right, I think we have time for just one more call before. Oh, dear. That's a job cost scenario, please, sir. Or madam, let's come up the computer. Then he went to job for that. All right, so we'll read. Obviously, it's something that anybody should be pleased, and I'm very this gathered up a lot of double of dust this morning. They out school children at Nigeria, no face, none from the other world or from the marine. Even if they were from the marine world or from the ocean, they are still within the territorial waters and borders of area. So their health, their well-being is considered. If it's a good details, and intentionally go into details to get here and see what sons, daughters of this are going through right now, parts of Kebbi, parts of Yobe, in Borno, it will be very disheartening. But the truth is, we're living with it here at home in Port Harcourt. We see them on the streets every single evening when they come out and they beg you for food. When you're walking on the streets in the afternoon and they tell you, please give them water, or they're hawking on the roads. It's a bad thing. But the question is, rather than leaving them not doing anything, at that age, 9, 10, should they, start to learn carpentry, whatever? I don't know.
Wait, no be Polo be that. Na him now. Chee! Polo don't say